Now that's an intro right there, baby. First, we get the
Slowly
Moneyline Madman sign, then you get the blank screen, then you get Sean, and then you get me. That's exactly the way you should start every show.
Yeah, slowly bring us in.
I just totally, I thought I had clicked on the right things, but apparently my mouse is not click sensitive enough to unlock some of these important things. You know what I mean?
No,
so Drew took your Blue Jays yesterday, and he's laughing out loud. I think it should be COLL, crying out loud.
That was my only loss was that parlay that I was so excited about. And, I did warn everybody, don't, and I had them on 2 or 3. Don't put one team on a bunch of your parlays because that team will always lose. And the Blue Jays was that team yesterday.
Mm-hmm. What else did you have yesterday? Remember you had the Yankees?
Yeah, that was part of the parlay. So luckily I lost on the parlay. But I had the Phillies, they won.
Mm-hmm.
Who else did I have? I had Tampa Bay, they won. I had Texas over Colorado. And then I also had San Diego giving up a 1.5.
Yeah, I was 2 and 3 yesterday. Stupid Cubs couldn't find their way. Well, really, like the dumb Minnesota squad kept hitting into double plays. Bases loaded, double play. Bases loaded, double play. All right, thank you. Then, of course, I knew that the Dodgers would win by 1, that they would score in the bottom of the 8th, go up and closer win and blow it for me in the top of the 9th so that I can get a walk-off home run with that guy on second base from the Dodgers. And then, 0-0 game all the way through. And then the guy gives up a grand slam for Houston. Lighten up. So 2 and 3, not happy about that. 2 and 3 sucks because you really didn't lose a lot. But when you look at your bank account, you actually did lose a lot. It doesn't feel like you went 2 and 3. It feels more like you went like 1 and 4 or something. Yeah, you agree? You disagree?
I agree. I was reading Drew's question, and
you're stunned into silence.
Yeah, no, I completely feel your pain. It's amazing how you go 2 and 3 and you lose more money than when you go 3 and 2. You don't really win anything.
Vegas, when you walk into the MGM Grand or the Bellagio or whatever hotel you frequent, just know that you put a couple of bricks there for sure. So as far as the World Series, yesterday we were talking about this. I kind of like Milwaukee a little bit from the National League because you're going to get a decent line. I don't know what, Sean, you looked that up yesterday. What was their line? Like plus what?
Plus 330 to get to the World Series.
And I think they're right now, like I said, I mentioned, they've gone into San Francisco and they've taken care of business in San Francisco. They have I'd say their 2 top starters, Woodruff and Coburn, match up with any starters in the league. I mean, I think they match up very well with the Dodgers in terms of Scherzer and Walker Buehler. Walker Buehler got hit a little bit yesterday by Atlanta. So I feel like that part of the bullpen and their bullpen is probably better than anybody else's bullpen in the National League, and they score runs. So I can see Milwaukee making a run into the World Series, giving you a positive line. And on the American League side, that's a tough one. I mean, Tampa Bay's played great all year. The White Sox have really kind of struggled against better teams. Out west, I'm not so sold on Oakland or who else is at the top over there? Oakland and
Houston.
I mean, Houston, they seem to play to the level of the team that they're playing. So they'll probably lift up their game when they get to the playoffs. But I think a surprise team. I mean, the Yankees are playing as well as anybody else.
Yeah.
Their starting pitching is a little suspect to me, and sometimes their bullpen can be a little suspect, but they can hit their way into any game.
Yeah, and is there really any team on the AL side that has a Dodgers or Brewers rotation? Not really. So,
well, I would think that the closest one is probably Tampa. Those guys, they have the best pitching staff in the American League, I think, pretty handily.
I would, if you told me to pick 2 teams right now, I'd pick the Yankees and I'd pick the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers, as every year, they got the starting pitcher and they'll be set up. They'll be healthy come the playoffs. And
but minus last year, the Dodgers kind of sucked in the playoffs.
Yeah,
it's like the first time they came through, and it was in an abbreviated year.
It's not the first time. They, that postseason, and they get the 3 pitchers set up, they're going to be really hard to beat.
They're going to be hard to beat, but I would rather take the Milwaukee squad because I think pitcher for pitcher, I think Coburn against Walker Buehler, the advantage goes to Coburn. And of course, that's according to advanced metrics. I think Woodruff versus Scherzer. The advanced metrics say Woodruff is a better pitcher right now.
See, in the postseason, I'm taking the other two, no matter what the stats.
Yeah, but Scherzer's kind of struggled in the playoffs. He's not a renowned playoff pitcher.
That might be true, but Buehler does not. Buehler's on his A game usually in the playoffs, so I would take that and experience over the two Brewers pitchers there.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why Vegas probably has him as the odds. But I think when you're talking about betting, you have to go where the value is. And I think that the value is definitely on Milwaukee. I think of all the teams in baseball, the best value for the World Series is the Brewers right now because they got the pitching staff. They can hit. And if Christian Yelich starts to play like an MVP candidate, forget about it. They got a really good shot to get in there. Right now, he's not playing like an MVP candidate. He's trading like playing like a Chris Bryant. Let's trade him candidate.
Yeah, well, and that's the same with Cody Bellinger for the Dodgers. I mean, if
he's not hitting anything this year.
No, if he ever gets it going, I mean, it'd be dangerous.
Well, they must have found a hole in his swing that he hasn't fixed.
Yeah, I mean, and sometimes in baseball it's weird. You know, you have these guys that don't have all that great stats. They have a great year, and then you have guys like Bellinger, who's always been good, just completely struggling this year.
Well, there has to be. They must have found something in his swing, and the pitchers are exploiting it.
Yep,
and he hasn't been able to fix it.
Yep. Now he'll have to adjust it in the offseason if he doesn't do it this year, or some hitters they never come back from it.
No. Well, I mean, if you're good, you will, right? You'll adjust to what they're doing to you and you'll correct it. So I think eventually Bellinger, I mean, he's got a sweet swing. It's a little long. And I'm not a baseball physicist that understands the swing arc and the launch angle and all that stuff. Like, some of these guys that are on staffs now, but just from watching Cody Bellinger, he seems to have a little bit of a long swing. And I would suspect that, when a guy has a long swing with an upward kind of cut, a little bit fast inside, some fast stuff on the hands kind of makes it hard for him to get around. And I would think that they found a hole in there. I haven't looked at the pitching charts to see how they pitch him. I probably should. And then you'll know exactly where the holes are at. But let's see if we can go talk about the holes. Let's try to see if we can not have any holes in our game today, Sean. We'll start with the college football. In a game that seems kind of the line seems kind of weird to me a little bit, to be honest with you. Because UAB seems like they're a team that's at least ascending, right? They're getting better year by year. They're in Alabama. They might have been the second best team in Alabama last year, maybe third behind Auburn and, of course, Alabama. This game is in Alabama. I don't know where Jackson State is. Maybe they're in Alabama too. But it should sort of be a home game for the UAB team. And yet the line it opened at 16.5 and moved up to 18 and change. And then it came right back down to 16.5. And I've seen it in DraftKings, it's like 15.5. So there's money clearly coming on the Jacksonville State squad. I've read that they have a quarterback that'll probably get a call from NFL teams next year. So it'll be interesting to see if that guy plays like that. Jacksonville State is in Alabama too, huh? Yeah. You worked at the UAB for a long time, Drew, so you must be on UAB tonight then, huh? Are you on them? Do you feel like that program is ascending like I do? It seems like it's a better program. And it's a FBS team versus a non-FBS team, so FCS, I think. So, I mean, it all should set up for UAB. They got most of their players back. They got their quarterback back, who is was the key to their team, but he was injured last year a little bit, missed some time. Backups did well. They should be able to run the ball. They have a terrific defensive line. I think they should be able to give this quarterback from Jacksonville State that supposedly is NFL bound, keep him under pressure the entire night in the pocket, which should benefit UAB. What do you think?
So I'm the complete opposite way on you. I understand UAB, and they are on their way up. They don't blow teams out. Their best player, Spencer Brown, left, the running back. They did get two other guys. They got a good running game.
Running backs don't mean
Jacksonville State.
Have you not learned that from the NFL? Running backs are meaningless. You give me a guy.
Well, that's
5'10", 5'11", runs a 4.4. It's kind of 4.4, is shifty. You can plug and play, baby. Plug and play. It's all about those big fellas up front.
UAB though, their defense and their running. The quarterback's good, but they don't light up the scoreboard or anything like that. Interesting about Jacksonville State, they're the only team. They played 4 games last fall, and then they played the whole spring schedule and actually went through the playoffs as well. So some people are concerned if they're tired. I would actually look at it as they should be ready to go more than UAB here. They may get tired throughout the year. I like Jacksonville State. I used my $100 risk-free bet on Jacksonville State plus 16.5, and I'm going to make that an official play here. I think UAB wins, but they don't win by more than 2 touchdowns here.
I don't know. I'm leaning UAB. They're a good team. I think they're an ascending team. They're definitely recruiting from a deeper pool of better players than Jacksonville State is. There's no question about that, because one is a top end. I'm not gonna say top end, but it's in the top end of football. The other one is not in the top end of football. They're probably bringing in some kids that might be, straight D1 quality caliber, but maybe don't have the other parts of the game that they need to go to the bigger schools. I'm not going to play this game because I don't really know what to expect of the spot tonight. If I were to take it, I would take UAB because I feel like they're the better team. And 80% of the time in sports, the team that wins covers. So I feel like UAB will win this game. And I'm 0-2. I'm 0-1 in college football. Sean's undefeated, so I'll defer to Sean.
So am I getting 15.5 or 16.5?
Well, it looks like you're going to get 16.5 for minus. You can get minus 105.
Okay. Yeah, I just think it being over 2 touchdowns, that's what sold me. UAB does not blow out teams typically. And this Jacksonville State team is battle tested. And like I said, they've played in the fall and they've played in the spring. So
yeah, none of that means anything to me. It doesn't mean, because it's all comes down to which team has better players, and UAB has better players.
Yeah, and they do.
They probably, the most dominant guy probably on the field tonight will be on the UAB defensive side of the ball, and they have a terror of a defensive end that's going to make the quarterback's life hell for Jackson State. Do you think that the spreads in the big games will be minus like 25 for Ohio State? In those big games, no, because they understand, these coaches understand. That guy, too, in Ohio State, I forget his name right now. I could picture him with the black hair, sided, a little plump guy.
Ryan Day.
Yes, Ryan Day. He's, I think, from the school of Nick Saban. If you can't keep up with us, that's too bad. We're not taking our foot off the gas pedal. And his goal is to knock this knot out of everybody. So I don't really, some coaches maybe, but I think in the bigger programs, they know margin of victory is a part of that BCS ranking at the end. So they're going to run up as many points as they have to run up to go ahead and win those games.
And that line's actually 13.5, and they're in Minnesota Friday night.
Ohio State versus Minnesota?
Yeah, in Minnesota Friday night, yep.
Yeah, Minnesota was a big disappointment last year. Everybody thought they were going to be pretty good. So Ohio, this is another case. Ohio State gets the best football players in the country, right? Minnesota does not get the first cut of football players. So Ohio State's going to have a better team because they continuously bring better players in, right? And the better players that you have, the more spirited your practices are. So I don't care if Jackson State played all year long and never stopped, because if you're playing against the D2 school, D2 or D1A players every day in practice, that ain't the same as playing against D1 kids who, in all likelihood at UAB, were one of the best kids on their team, if not the best kid on their team at some smaller schools, and the best kids in their conference. So these kids are playing against better kids in practice. The better kids you practice against, the better you end up being. It refines the knife a lot better, I think. But
it's all true. UAB doesn't have the killer instinct. They're not going to be one of those teams that are going to run up the score. They're going to play defense. They're going to run the ball.
But what if they win 21-0?
No, they're not going to win 21-0. Jacksonville State's going to score some points here. What if
they win 24-3?
You're giving Jacksonville State scores at least 1 touchdown tonight. Okay. I think UAB could win by 2 touchdowns, but they're not going to win by more than that.
Well, so otherwise, you're going to take Jackson State. All right. Well, enough devil's advocate on it. What will amount to be in about 2 weeks an absolutely meaningless college football game, right?
Yeah, but
if you played it and you won, then it will have some meaning.
Yeah, it's a Wednesday night game. I used my $100 risk-free bet. Some people look for that long shot to do that. I don't normally bet $100, so I'm just looking for a winner. And if I lose, I get the $100 back.
Not bad. St. Louis Cardinals heading off to Cincinnati for game 2 of a doubleheader. It looks like, I don't know what happened to game 1, but there it is. St. Louis won game 1, so we know that what that means, except yesterday the Mets laid that rule to rest. But that means tonight in game 2, Cincinnati wins that game. Sean, do you think they're going to win that game?
They might, but they're really slumping, and the Cardinals are coming on. And the value here, minus 170 for the Reds, I just don't like that, and I don't want to give up a run and a half. But I'm not going to take the Cardinals with J.A. Happ neither, so this is a pass for me.
Well, here's the thing. I think this game is – I don't really like anything today. This is the closest thing to anything I like because of these lines. When you look at J.A. Happ, okay, this dude in Cincinnati, he's probably going to pretend he's sick today. All right, coach, I got a cough. I forgot to wear my mask. And I shouldn't joke about that, but I got a feeling this guy goes to Cincinnati. He's got like over a 7.5 ERA at the Great American Ballpark. He's been beaten around by Cincinnati. And Sonny Gray's not been all that great against the Cardinals either. He's got a pretty hefty ERA. If I were going to bet a total, this might be a total I would consider because I think both guys are going to get hit. I think runs are going to be scored. This game is 7, I think, which is, I think, a high total for a 7-inning game, right? You see 9-inning games at 7. But I think they're going to go over 7 and probably pretty quick. Yeah,
and they could. I mean, earlier they were swinging the bats good. What was the final, like 6-5 or whatever it was? But they were swinging it pretty good, and neither starting pitcher seemed to have it neither. I'm also curious as to what the lineups look like in the second game because it looked like the first game all the starters were playing. So I'm sure some big hitters here will get.
I don't think so. I think the Reds are still in the mix. I think both teams feel like they have an outside shot maybe at a wild card, but they have to win.
And the other thing is Joey Votto does not hit as well against lefties as he does righties, so that kind of neutralizes him a little bit too.
Mm-hmm. Well, they have a winning record against it. And I'm looking at the line right now. The line has come down into my range. It was outside of my range earlier in the day. So right now, with it being in my range, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put 25 on the Cincinnati squad to go ahead and take game 2 of the doubleheader today. That's pretty much might be the only thing I have today. Maybe if I can put 3 teams together, but even some of these minus 300 teams don't make sense to me today either. So for now, that's my only play of the day. And it looks like that a lot of the fans agree with me. Big money, 82% of the dinero is on the Rojos. That's my Spanish for the day. And then the Cardinals, have no idea how to say that in Spanish, are only taking in about a quarter of the action. Next spot, St. Louis is after that. It's the Yankees and the Angels. So you got Garrett Cole on the mound at minus 291. The Angels, the kid who's pitching for them, Naughton, has pitched pretty well as well. So I think this might be a candidate for a game that could possibly go under.
I wouldn't want to play the under with the Yankees offense right now. And even the Angels are scoring against the Yankees all of a sudden here. And they have the Yankees number right now. This is one I would throw the Yankees in a parlay if you're going to do it.
They've not really beaten them.
I know.
LA's played them tooth and nail.
I know, but you do have Garrett Cole tonight, and you'd have to think Angels aren't winning 3 in a row.
Well, why not? If you won 2, why can't you win 3?
Yeah, you can, but I would go Cole here. I'm not betting it. Realistically, you could do the same parlay I did yesterday, but I'm not gonna do it tonight.
Yeah, to me, there's value on taking the Angels. They've won already 2 against the Yankees, so they're hitting right now, obviously, because they're able to outscore the Yankees in higher scoring games. Garrett Cole, yeah, he's the star, unquestionably a star. But I don't think when you look at the line says that the Yankees essentially have let me pull it up here real quick. It says the Yankees essentially the implied probability at minus 300 is that the Yankees win this game 3 out of 4 times. And I don't think that the way the Yankees are playing and the way the Angels are playing, that the Yankees win this game 3 out of 4 times, maybe 65 out of 100, but not 75 out of 100. To me, the value is clearly on the Angels side. I'm just not going to play it because it's really, according to the simulator, it's a 51-49 game. So all the value is on the Angels. Baltimore and Toronto. Can Baltimore make Drew cry again?
No, Toronto's winning this game. Steven Matz has been pitching really good. Baltimore's awful against lefties. They're awful no matter what. And Matt Harvey's going to give up runs to that Toronto offense that struggled to score yesterday, only scoring 2. So
yeah, they've been really in a funk lately, haven't they been?
Yeah, so, honestly, what do we got here? Toronto giving up a run and a half. I know it's negative, but it's minus 135.
Minus 125, yeah.
Minus 125. Sign me up for that. I will take that and make that official.
Not me. Minus 125. No, that's way underwater for me. No chance in heck. And I can get you, let's see, the best I can get you on the board right now is minus 127.
Yeah, Matt Harvey's going to get lit up tonight with Toronto. And Matt's has been pitching really well, so I see him. That 4-2 game yesterday, it will be a rebound here.
Oakland and Detroit. Was a nice spot yesterday for us, taking Oakland in the first game. They won fairly easily. Today is a little bit of a different matchup. You're paying way too much for Oakland today. So I'm not in any way, shape, or form interested in that game. Looking at the way the bets are laying out, the minus 1.5 is taking in almost 90% of the money for Oakland. And if you go minus 1.5 for Oakland, you're going to get a minus 121, minus 115, minus 110 again, outside of my allowable number. I can't take Oakland on the money line. I can't take Oakland on the run line. I can't take Oakland in this game.
No, and I was actually looking at, taking Detroit, and then looking at that, I couldn't do that either, so it was a pass for me.
And then we got Boston, Chris Sale at Tampa Bay. So Tampa Bay right now is minus 113 you can get for the home team. Tampa Bay is really good at home. Boston is really struggling. Their bats have gone quiet, but you get Chris Sale, who's pitched well since coming back. It's got a plus 110 you can get, Sean. Are you interested at all in the Red Sox at plus 110?
No, and the only thing that stopped me from picking Tampa Bay was Chris Sale pitching. But I couldn't take a struggling Boston team now in Tampa Bay, where Tampa Bay's been really good. So, well,
the majority of the tickets are actually on Boston tonight with Chris Sale. I mean, he keeps them in the game for sure, and if they can come through at the end, but I don't know, they're really struggling to hit the ball. But the majority of the money is actually on Tampa Bay. So the tickets are on Boston. The money is on Tampa Bay. What do they always tell you to do, Sean?
Go where the money goes.
Follow the money, baby. Yeah. Absolutely, 100% indeed. Cleveland and Kansas City tonight. You can get Cleveland with a plus line again versus the Royals. Minus 127 for the home squad, plus 118 for the soon-to-be Guardians. Another game that I'm kind of
So I'm going with the total, the over 9. Logan Allen's been getting lit up and only going, 2 to 3 innings. Jackson Kowar, same thing, giving up 3-4 runs and only going 3-4 innings. So the total is only over 9. I mean, if at the end of the third inning, this game's 3-3, it should go over 9 pretty easily. So
you would suspect, huh?
Yeah. So I was thinking this total would actually be higher. The fact that it's only 9, I'm taking the over.
So you're going to go a full bet on the over there?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, whenever I do totals, I think I'm 1-1 in totals this year, so I'm happy with that. I'm done. Pittsburgh and the White Sox. Carlos Rodon versus Kranick, minus 346. You probably got a better line with the Reds today against than the minus 1.5 for the White Sox. Let's see. The White Sox minus 1.5 or minus 180. Yes, betting the Reds just to win is a better line than the White Sox winning by 2 or more.
Yeah, I mean, this is another one you can add it to the parlay if you want, but the minus 360, it's so crazy in baseball.
What is that?
That is just a crazy line considering that it's, baseball's every day and every team beats every team. So
as crazy as that line is, I mean, people are all over the White Sox. I mean, 99% of the money is on the White Sox. I mean, I don't know who's betting. I mean, somebody's just saying, screw it. I got $5 left in my account. I'm going to put it on the Pirates. So if I win, I got $15 for tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, the White Sox should win this game. That minus 365 is just too crazy.
Yeah, it says that minus 365 is a 78.5% chance they win this game. It's probably closer to 100%, but so there probably is value in minus 365.
Yeah, because even
just not for me.
Even if you go 80, the White Sox win this game 4 out of 5. I would shake my head yes to that. They should win this game 4 out of 5 times.
Yeah, I think probably 5 out of 5. But Whites, the Cubs, Minnesota. Forget it. Minnesota, what they did. I mean, bases loaded. I think they had bases loaded like 3 times, and they hit into double plays, I think, every single time. So it just, with 1 out, of course. And that frustrated me the hell out of me yesterday. They just looked inept against the inept Cubs. I can't back the Minnesota after that showing.
Yeah, Joe Ryan makes his major league debut. He was
the Cubs have always sucked against guys that are making their major league debut.
He's supposed to be talented. He was the prize for Nelson Cruz. So he gets to debut today. They probably win, but again, I'm not taking the Twins at -190. And this Justin Steele hasn't been too bad for the Cubs.
Well, what's interesting to note is that the Minnesota squad opened up -141, and that line has moved to as high as -185. So that shows you that the backers love this kid that's pitching for them. I just watched Minnesota score 1 run against a guy who had been getting shelled in Zach Davies. They couldn't get anything off of him. So Steele has definitely pitched better than Zach Davies has. So I don't know. That makes
What's crazy too is I'm seeing -190 on DraftKings. Minus a run and a half, though, you get +110. But then we see other places where you're -190 and you're still a negative run line. So it's amazing the difference in there.
Well, they're going to have to score at least 2 to beat him by 2. But they only managed 1 last night. So, of course, tonight will be the night that Polanco and Sano, they just hit home run after home run. Couldn't do it last night. But tonight, guarantee they're going to give some fans in the outfield some souvenirs. You might want to look into what the line is for one of those 2 guys to hit a home run tonight, because I was counting on them getting one for me last night, and they didn't. So take a look at that, Sean, and see what it is for Sano or Polanco to hit a home run tonight.
Okay.
Atlanta versus the Dodgers. Max Fried against Matt Scherzer. This game, Sean, on the surface, looks like a game you should definitely lean towards the under, right?
Yeah, and the problem is it's 7.5?
But I think it's actually 7. Yeah, 7.5. Scherzer has not necessarily pitched very well against Atlanta. It's one of the better teams against them. He's got an ERA a long career, striking a lot of dudes out and being a Cy Young award-winning pitcher. He's got a lifetime career ERA against Atlanta, one of the teams he's probably faced more than any other team. And that team, that ERA is over 4. And on the flip side, Max Fried's ERA against the Dodgers, well, you can imagine that's over 4 too. So you got 2 guys with high ERAs that look good on paper. I think that 7.5 number, Sean, is too low.
Yeah, it probably is. And it's exactly, Vegas can get away with that because you see the pitching matchup and you want to jump on the under no matter what it is. And yeah, the Braves know Scherzer really well, and that's why. The other thing is sometimes he struggles in the first inning. He's one of those pitchers that the first inning. So you might not want to fall for that DraftKings neither. They have a no run first inning for the Dodgers Braves.
That's because they know that someone's going to score. Every time I take one of those teams, damn together, Sky score. So, a quick question for you. Parlay. I might do this for $10. Small parlay today. Breaking rules all across the board. Over in the Cincinnati game against the Cardinals.
Yep.
And then the under in the Atlanta. The over in the Cincinnati game, the under in the Dodgers Braves game. What does that work out to be?
Okay, so I'm on one thing. Polanco tonight over a half home run, so 1 home run plus 450, and Sano plus 300.
Give me. I'm not going to say it, but if I'm going to pick one, I would take Polanco to hit one tonight.
Yeah, and you're getting a better value for it too. So the under in the Dodgers.
But if you could bet on both of them. If one of them hits a home run, you're going to turn a profit from just a pure math standpoint. So maybe you might think about if you usually do a $10 unit, for example, just because my math is easier when I go in the measurements of 10. But if you put 5 on Polanco and 5 on Sano, and one of them hits a home run, you're going to be a positive for sure. Anyway,
so if you're over in the Cardinals Reds and under in the Dodgers Braves are a plus 249.
Woo! You know what, Sean? I'm going to do it. I'm going to put $10 on my run line parlay.
I thought you just convinced me that it wasn't good to go under with the Dodgers Braves here.
No, it's supposed to be over. I said over in Cincinnati, over in the over. You're right. Over in both games. I don't know. I'm old, dude. Come on.
Well, it's still plus.
You know what I was saying?
It's still plus 249. So
I actually got better by 9 cents.
No, you're still plus 249. Same value.
Okay, 249. Yeah. So I'm going to put $10 on that over both games.
Okay.
We'll see what happens. They're probably both games will be 0-0 in the bottom of the 7th and 9th game inning, respectively. And I'll just be shaking my head. Why do you break the rules? Why do you break the rules? All right. One last thing today, Sean, and we got to cover golf, right? It's usually we cover golf on Wednesdays. But unfortunately, this week is an unusual week. Win by 10 today because you should bet them today, Drew. So if they win by 10, lay 9. You could probably get a pretty high plus.
The other thing you can do, I was looking at it yesterday and I didn't play it and I don't even know the end result. But in DraftKings, you can actually go and put like the highest scoring team for the night and get good odds. The Blue Jays might be that team tonight.
Who would be that team tonight? Probably the Blue Jays, but you might look at that Cleveland-Kansas City game too and pick a
guy. Yeah, you could.
Yeah. So, but you never know. Baseball is weird. It's the weirdest sport, I think, of all sports. But normally we talk about golf on Wednesdays, and this is a tough week to talk about golf. Yeah, -3.5. Drew, give it a whirl. Is that the first number that's a plus line? That's usually what I look for when I'm going to do some kind of weird alternative run line, is the first one that's a positive number. But that doesn't always work out either. So they're doing the PGA FedEx Championship. And they do things a little bit differently because I think there's only like 40 players in the field. So it's a smaller field. So to help the person who's been the best all throughout the year, they give them a head start, right? So Patrick Cantlay is going to start -10. Tony Finau is going to start -8. Bryson DeChambeau is going to be -7. John Rahm -6. Cameron Smith -5. Host of guys at -4. Another handful of guys at -3, 2, 1, all the way down to even par. So obviously the odds reflect this. You're giving somebody a head start. It's tough to get good odds on anybody. So I look back, to me, the one value that I kind of see, and I won't bet it this week because it's the goofy scoring system, but you can get Xander Schauffele, I think, at, let's see, Xander Schauffele to finish in the top 5. Oh, what the hell happened? Tournament lines. Where's the MPAGA golf? But anyway, Xander Schauffele to finish in the top 5. Let's go back here. I think he was like +227. And he's played exceptionally well at this course. Let me just see if I can find it. It was here, and then now it's not there anymore.
And where does he start off at?
He starts off at -2, I think. Yes. I don't know where his numbers are now because they don't have so without starting strokes, my DraftKings account's not really matching up. Right? I know it's not populating right now. So, but earlier in the day, I think Xander Schauffele was 275 to finish in the top 5. He's, I think, finished in the top 5 the past couple of years. It's a course that he really seems to like. I would think about Xander Schauffele in that route. And a winner without starting strokes, that's, like any other tournament, it's $1 million guess. But that would be the one gentleman that I would consider playing this weekend on a small amount in the East Lake tournament for the PGA FedEx Championship. I think next week they'll return to like a different normalized schedule. We'll put up our rankings and all that kind of good stuff. So we talked about baseball. We talked about football. We talked a little bit about golf. And like an old man with the left blinker on the whole time, I left the NCAA football banner there the whole time.
Hey, that's all right because at least for me, even Jacksonville State UAB, that's what I'm most excited about tonight.
Mm-hmm. Well, I hope you win, Sean. I got a feeling that you're not going to. So hopefully my feelings turn into a win for you since I'm not on either side of that squad.
Yeah, well, they can win by like 15 and you're almost half right.
I mean, as long as they cover for you, I don't care. I mean, I don't have any money on the spot, but I feel like in college football, usually the bigger team with the better athletes wins and they win usually by a lot. So, and to your, point, 17.5 or 16.5 is a lot of points. So that's 2 touchdowns and a field goal. I just hope that you got to hope Jacksonville State doesn't turn the ball over. I think that's the big key for you. If they don't turn the ball over, Sean, I think you're good to go.
And get off to a good start.
But if they start to turn, they can't do like Hawaii did.
No, Hawaii was dead before the second quarter started.
They were dead by the time they got the ball the third time.
And that's as an underdog. And when you take these teams plus points, that's what you need is you need a good start and just hang around. And then, like I said, UAB doesn't have the killer instinct. So it's not like they should, dominate the second half and beat them by 3 touchdowns.
Well, we'll be back tomorrow. There's more college football tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
There's more than one game tomorrow, right?
Yeah, there's a bunch of games tomorrow. There's a bunch of games Friday, and then obviously a bunch of games Saturday. So.
Oh, yeah. So you got a bunch of games. So looks like you got 3 games tomorrow. You got 2 games on Friday, and then, of course, a full slate of games on Saturday when Sean will Well, you won't be getting me out of bed early that day. So we'll just go ahead and put our picks out on Twitter that day. And we'll put them out on Moneyline Madmen and let you know when we put them up on Twitter and Facebook. So you're going to have to go over to Moneyline Madmen. You're going to have to register. It doesn't cost a damn thing, but we want you to join so you can start to share your picks with us. Let us know your thoughts, what you'd like us to talk about, if anything. And then, of course, tell your friends about it. Let them know you can find us on Facebook and Twitter. Where at, Sean?
Moneyline Madmen.
All right. Anything else you want to cover before we get up and out of here?
No, I think that's it. I mean, I'm still reading stuff about this fake high school with ESPN, which is just getting crazier by the day. Have to be a documentary soon.
Yeah, dupes. Right.
I mean, how ESPN doesn't do their research on finding out that this wasn't a legitimate school and they didn't have grade 1, D1 prospects is unbelievable.
What do you think? Because they're journalists, they're smart?
Well,
I went to school. Let me just tell you something. I have a journalism degree. If I can do it, anybody can do it. So I have evidence that journalists need not be that smart.
Well, it's not the journalists. It's just the people, scheduling these games and stuff. Even the announcer said during the game that, all that went unfounded. Well, if it went unfounded, why did they agree to air that game?
Yeah, I agree with you with that. All right, Sean. Until we meet again, hopefully your Jackson State bet is a winner. And, of course, all your other bets tonight. See you tomorrow in 23 and 30.